Hey everyone, this is Stephen Strawn at the Cast Iron Cookware channel, where you can find information to help you better collect, restore, and use cast iron cookware. If you enjoy cast iron cookware, then this is the channel for you. Right now will be a great time to subscribe, hit the notification bell, that way you will be informed of new videos when they come out. Today we are in Littleville, Alabama at T&M Collectibles, filming episode 5 of Hunting Cast Iron Cookware in the Wild. Excited to check out this store, so we're going to do that coming right up. Okay, let's get in here and check this place out. It's not a real big store, but it has a lot of stuff. There's a lot of signage on the walls. There's a lot of cool stuff here. Quaker State. Pennzoil, Willys, Texaco, Fire Chief. These are names that's been around for a long time. Fire Chief, Texaco, that's cool. That's a cool sign right there. A lot of glassware. A lot of different size bowls. I don't know much about these. It's Pyrex, I believe that's Pyrex. If you collect Pyrex, this looks like the place to be right here. I like the colorful stuff. That's nice. I don't know if these are made in a set like this or if they all come one color. But I like them both ways. I like the dark glass even better. Corningware, I remember when I was a kid. I don't know if it came out when I was a kid, but I remember the popularity was really high. This was ovenware. This was the kind of stuff that you could really get hot. I think they was touting this stuff as space age materials. Hot Wheels, if you are a Hot Wheel person, man, they have a lot of Hot Wheels here, new in the box. If I was a kid, I would be here looking at every one of these, just drooling over them, because man, I loved Hot Wheels when I was a kid. Here's I thought it was a cookie jar, but my hand would never fit in that. $5. That's pretty cool. Now this is odd. Now, I like kitchen stuff. I'm not a chef or a cook, but I like kitchen stuff. This is a neat little piece, and it's a set that nests together. See if there's any markings on it. I have no idea what that is. $25. I like it. I gotta save my money for cast iron though. We have more signage. If you like signage, now this is metal. Mountain Dew, Pepsi. Now my sister would absolutely love this. We have Coca-Cola. More cool bowls. This kind of reminds you of a watermelon. Awesome. $8. That's nice. I'll turn that this way because I don't want to break it. Just remember these days, this one, cartoons were really cartoons. They don't make them like that anymore. I know it's put together. It's a Coca-Cola crate, and it's made into a little wagon. $25, that is nice. Somebody made this in their shop, but that is still a cool piece to have right there. here in Alabama. I think we are right off what they call George Wallace Boulevard or George Wallace Highway. A little bit of Alabama history right here. Coca-Cola crates. You know, for that little wagon, $25, you're actually paying a good price. This is $25 for the crate, which is nice. They have 2 in red and 1 in yellow. Here we got a Royal Crown RC Cola. Man, the snack that you would have back in the day was a moon pie and RC Cola, right? Tonka. You know, they made toys. I still remember the commercial. Tonka makes trucks. These were tough toys. They were made to be played with for generations, not just for that one kid. Nowadays, they're made for a season. But this is back when they made things right. Honestly, I think if they made toys to last, it probably wouldn't do any good nowadays, because kids nowadays, this is the toy they want. And that's all they're gonna fool with. I'm really glad that I grew up in a time where you went outside, you climbed trees, and you played outside. And great childhood. Kids don't get that nowadays. It's really sad. We didn't have a whole lot, but we had a lot of things that kids don't have today. I wouldn't trade it. Okay, now we didn't show this when we first came in. This is the wall. When you come in the door, this is what you see when you come in. When I talked to the owner about coming here, he said, I got quite a bit of cast iron. And this is what you see when you first come in. Or what I see when I first come in is this little Indian. Number 4. It's a reproduction. You can tell by the roughness. And it's a number 4. And I've heard that number 4 is going to be the most reproduced piece in these Wapacks. But it's still a nice piece to have, because you can't just go out and buy one of these. So a copy's probably the best you're going to do. So, but I like the fact that he's got reproduction written on here. And you're letting people know that it's not a original piece. These are some of the pieces that belong to the owner. He brought them in so we could check them out. He asked me if my viewers would be interested in seeing some of these pieces, and I said, oh, certainly. These are enamel pieces. These are 2 little skillets, and they're made in Japan, and they're pretty cool. This one right here is kind of like a combo kit for a toy set, but that is neat. Here's a Martin stove and range, Florence, Alabama. If you come down here to buy these, they won't be here. This is part of his personal collection. This is a Griswold Number 0. That is nice. We have a little Wagner ware. This one you don't see very often. Well, you see it occasionally, but you usually see a copy or reproduction. This is the Griswold number 262, and the casting is really smooth. It's really neat, so you know it's a real piece. It take a lot of these little corn sticks to fill me up, but that's a nice piece right there to have. And like I said before, this is part of his personal collection, so it won't be staying in the store. I'm sure he'll be taking that home. Here's a Lodge, small piece. That's pretty neat. This is probably one of the most interesting pieces of the bunch in this little stack is this little Martin stove and range Dutch oven. It's got a little ring in it, and it looks like it's like a piggy bank. But I believe this was, what I'm understanding, this is the story that I've heard, and I'm not sure, and he's not totally sure. And if you have any information on it, feel free to chime in on it. But he was saying that this here was a salesman's sample, and whenever the salesman retired, what they would do, they would drill a hole in it and put this ring in it and put a little padlock on it and put them a gift inside there for retirement. I don't know, but you can see it's made where they can padlock it, like a little lock box, a little change collector. You know, you put your money in there. It's like a piggy bank, but you don't have to break. But you got to put your lock and key on it. So these are really cool pieces that belong to the owner in his private little collection. He collects toy cast iron pieces, and those are awesome. Wapack. This is one of those little pieces that when people run across them, they get a little excited. This is a Wapack number 3. It looks like it was originally coated, either nickel plated. $50. A lot of people love Wapack. Me too. Favorite Piqua, number 3. He's got a lot of number 3s across down through here, which is kind of, you know, neat. I like number 3s. This little favorite is $60. Smiley logo. See the little smiley face? When you hear the term smiley logo, that's it. It's a little smile. Here's another favorite ware, but it's not the smiley logo. $45. The other one was $60 with the smiley logo. The surface in this thing here is perfect. The surface in the other one is perfect. Wagner ware, Sydney-O. You can even see, if I can kind of turn it, the light hits it, you can still see the mill marks where this was milled down. This is just slick as glass. $15. It's a round bottom, it's not got a heat ring. It's a little hammered Chicago Hardware Foundry. There's not a lot of information about Chicago Hardware Foundry. There are a lot of people collecting it. Birmingham Stove and Range, Century Series. I don't know if I mentioned how much the Chicago Hardware Foundry was, $35. This is a Lodge number 4, 3-notch. It's really nice. You can still see the mill marks. It's a really nice looking piece. If you collect 3-notch Lodges, this is your number 4 right here. $50. Here is a, I believe an unmarked Wagner, number 5, $15. 8-inch skillet. It's in really good shape. Birmingham Stove and Range, Red Mountain Series. You don't have the NO dot. See a Century Series right here. Here's a good example. They're not both number 3s. We can look at this one here. It says Made in USA. They don't all say Made in USA. Century Series, some of them doesn't say Made in USA. They just have the size. It says NO.3. This is Century Series. And then in 1968, 1969, somewhere around there, they started putting Made in USA. That was part of to try to slow down some of the imports so people can buy USA. Then they later on, they quit putting USA on everything. You have some that did, some that didn't. But with the Red Mountain Series, a little older, you don't have that all that other information. You just have the number of the skillet and the mold mark. Birmingham Stove and Range, Red Mountain, number 5, $15. Okay, here we got a number 5 like I talked about just a minute ago. This is a number 5 without the USA. This is Century Series. Without Made in USA, like I mentioned before, is Century because of the way the NO dot, the description is. We also have the inspection mark, or the little screw head. I've heard people say a lot of things. This is the screw so you can change the seasoning, or you can adjust the skillet to make it fit better. But basically what this is, they put these little screw marks in the mold if they were suspect that there was an issue. So what they would do, so if they had a mold that they weren't sure if it was the one causing the issue, say there was a little bit of a flaw coming up in a certain place or whatever, they would go ahead and put this mark in that mold, and then they'd go ahead and run production, and then if they seen one of them coming up with a flaw they were looking for, with this mark they knew which mold needed to be repaired or taken out of service. But if it was another piece, they would process of elimination. So basically that is a inspection mark or a quality mark. By the way, this little Century Series number 5, $15. Now if you just need to cook one egg, this is what you need. This is a number 14 Lodge, 85 bucks. You can almost scrap it for that much. This is a big skillet. I mean, you cook an entire breakfast for an entire family in this baby. You're not going to be doing any one-handed pancake flipping with this one, I can tell you that. Here we go. They got the heavy ones on the bottom. This one doesn't have a price on it. But this is an older piece. The heat ring is on the outer edge. It's not inset. It's got a little bit of a casting flaw right here. It's a number 8. I believe it's a Wagner. You'll see the plated piece. Here's a Wagner Sydney O. It's a nickel plated. The number is a 1099C. It's got a really nice surface. For number 9, it's really light. It's got the outset heat ring. Here is a number 6. 3-notch Lodge skillet, $17. I wouldn't say 6 is hard to find, but you don't see as many of them as you see the 7/8s. Here's a 1-notch Lodge, number 9, $25. Kind of wonder why he's just got $25 on that one. It's a good price for a good looking skillet. It looks like it sits flat too. I know we're on carpet, it's kind of hard to tell, but good price on that. Here's another number 6 Lodge SK, a little newer, 3-notch SK number 6, made in USA. They didn't grind these down, they didn't mill them down like they did some of the older ones. So when the casting has a little bit of roughness, and that's not really a problem. But you know, as the newer they get, it seems like the more rough they get, and they take seasoning a little better. The real glass slick ones, It's really hard to get a good layer on them, but they cook great. Here's a Birmingham Stove and Range 6 CBS. This was a Birmingham Stove and Range special right here. They come out with the 8 Wedge, and they're the ones that actually invented it. And they come out with this little sister here. It didn't stay around for a long time. I've got one, I've had a few, and it's a nice little piece. If you collect BSR, this is really a must-have. You need to at least have one. And as I mentioned, BSR invented them, but other companies started making them. This one here is a Lodge. This is newer, has the Lodge name on it. Now, I didn't mention how much this one was. This was 35 bucks. It's not bad, it's really good shape. This one right here is 25, Lodge. It's got their name and logo, made in USA on the back. They put the hole in it. Believe maybe they thought it would cause it to weigh less, but there's not much you can do to make these weigh less because there's a lot of metal in them. And okay, here on the bottom, we have a Wagner bacon and egg breakfast skillet. Basically, you put your bacon in here and you cook it for a little bit. You tilt it up, let your oil run over the sides. Then you could cook your eggs in your bacon grease right here. Really cool piece. You got the little thumb hole. And this here is $45. They made a chef skillet kind of similar to this with this kind of little handle shape right here. Was pretty neat. And Griswold, pretty much the same thing. You put your bacon here and you cook it for a little bit. You lean it over, let your grease go down into the sides, and you cook you a couple eggs in the bacon grease. It's pretty much see it from a mile away, recognize it to be a Griswold handle. This here is a $125. It's a really pretty piece. Griswold. Griswold is still kind of the holy grail of cast iron. Here's a piece that I don't have that I want to have, and this is the Sportsman's Grill, Birmingham Stove and Range. Awesome piece. The Birmingham Stove and Range oval roaster, $150. Nice. It's a big boy. Birmingham Stove and Range, Sportsman's Grill. Now this is a cool piece right here. This is a must-have for BSR collectors, and I'm one that don't have one. $225. Very nice little piece. A lot of times you'll see them without this little draft door on the bottom, but this one has it. And this big boy right here, it's called a ham boiler. And they've got a price of $175. And it feels like it weighs 175 pounds. Huge double gate mark. A big piece. And it's in good shape too. Man, I like that. This is something I don't see very often. Birmingham Stove and Range square skillet. Now with Birmingham Stove and Range, you have the little ridge handle. Now this one's a little more extended looking than the regular ridge handles that you see on Birmingham Stove and Range. $30 for this little square skillet. And I mean, it feels like you're rubbing your fingers on oiled up glass. A while ago I mentioned the Wagner had a chef skillet. Here you go. Here's the little handle, the matching handle. This matches the handle on the other Wagner Wagner chef skillet, 9-inch. $65. This is an item that is really desired among cast iron people. And this is a Bundt Pan. This is a large Bundt Pan, $125. Nearly every Bundt Pan you run across is going to cost you a few dollars. So this one looks really good. It's not bad, $125. I've seen Bundt Pans go for $300, $400, $500, $600 depending on where they came from and who made them. You'll see these a lot. A three-legged bean pot. It's an old gate mark piece. Most of the time, the gate marks, you'll see them around 1890s and earlier. There are a few that kind of crossed over into the 1900s, like maybe 1910 or so. But you'll see the gate marks before pre-1900. This is a bean pot, 40 bucks. You'll see them a lot without the lid, and you can just hang them right over the fire. Now here's something that I always say, that people that collect blanket ships are unique people because these things are really hard to put together, because sometimes you have 2 pieces and 3 pieces, and you have to make sure you measure them. The wrong ones will not work. Blanket ship combo skillet, 100 bucks. Erie Scotch bowl. Now this thing here is really cute. Has a little bit of pitting in the bottom, but other than that, it's really smooth. Erie Scotch bowl, number 2, 100 bucks. Now that is nice. Here's a little set of Wagner Starter Set, a 5, 6, and 8. Wagnerware Sydney O. It says it's pitted just a little bit on the smaller one. 15, 25, and 40. Nice little starter set of Wagners. And you hear this all the time. Large block logo, small block logo. This is a small block logo right here. And just to compare it with one that has a larger logo. Now these are both round bottoms, so they're still a little bit newer. But we have right here, we have the number 8, which is 50. The number 5, which is 25. And they're really smooth. Another number 5, $30. And we got a couple of 3s. No, it's a number 4. Number 4, 75. 4s are a little uncommon. You'll see them a lot less than you'll see the 3s and the 5s. And here is a number 3, 25 bucks. That's a pretty little starter set. 3, 4, 5, 5, and 8. Now we have a 3, a 4, and a 6 of these round bottom Griswolds. I have a 7 and 8. This little 3 is pitted just a little bit, so 35 bucks. Number 4, like I said, 4s are a little more rare. This is 80 bucks. The large logo, block letter, but round bottom. Of course, your number 6, 65. The number 6 looks really good. And we talk about slant letter, block letter, and heat rings. Here is a Griswold large letter, slant letter, or large block. Excuse me. Here is a Griswold large block slant logo, and it's got the heat ring. So I mean, it's all the pluses are right here. This near is 90 bucks for number 3. And this is probably one of the most desired of the Griswolds. You have the slant letter large block. Compared to the block letter large with a round bottom, you can just go by the price and give you a good example. The one is 90 and one is 35. So just because it says Griswold doesn't mean it's, you know, there's differences in the Griswolds. Here is a number 8 Griswold large block, slant letter. You got the heat ring. Very, looks like it's flat, perfect, inside and out, $100. So there is a difference comparing Griswolds to Griswolds. There's, just because it says Griswold doesn't mean that it's a high end or low end. Here's a Wagner Sydney O. These here are really more desirable than the ones that you see nowadays. It's that you see a lot more of them with the round bottom, the outer heat ring. That is a desirable thing when it comes to Wagners or really anything. This is a number 9, $65. It's not a bad price for that. And it looks like it's going to be absolutely flat. Here's another thing you'll see. Here's a 1-notch lodge. And we talk about 3-notch lodges. You usually have one at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. This one just has it at 12 o'clock. It's a little older. It's a 1-notch. And it also has the raised letter. These are more desirable. The raised letters, the 1 notches, are more desirable than the 3-notch. And this number 7 right here is $35. Okay, we are in Martin territory. This is what they call the newer logo. When you hear about Martins, you hear about Hamburger logos a lot. This is not the Hamburger. This is a little bit newer. But this still, if you were trying to put together a Martin set, this is a very, very nice set to put together. Martin is fast becoming the Griswold of the South, and they're getting harder and harder to find. We are in Littleville, just right outside of Florence, where this little baby was made, which is awesome. Good piece of history right here. This is $25 for the straight logo, and it is in really good shape. Okay, we talked about logos earlier. Here is the Hamburger logo. It looks like it's got a bun on top, a bun on bottom, and a piece of hamburger meat in the middle. This is what we refer to as a Hamburger logo. It's a little bit older. Sometimes you'll see, right here it says Martin Stove and Range, Florence, Alabama. Sometimes you'll see these that say Perfection. So that's another thing to look out for. It's got the raised 8. And it's also kind of a little bit fancy on the handle. A Martin Stove and Range Hamburger logo griddle. We got 3 little hamburgers right here. Here is a number 5 Martin Stove and Range Hamburger logo, $30. There we go again. A hamburger. $40 for number 7, and this thing here is absolutely perfect. This is a beautiful skillet. $40, man, I like that. Southern Griswolds here. Another number 8. Number 8, $50 Hamburger logo. This is a beautiful piece right here. Man, I would love to take all 3 of these babies home. Okay, we're moving up right here. We're moving up to a Griswold long griddle, $100, and it has the Griswold small block logo, which is pretty cool. And here's a Big Daddy right here. This is a big one. This is the same as the one we just had, just a little larger. This one here, small block logo. This is a big boy, $150. Here's one that has a little hook. It's a double skillet, and basically it'll sit like that by itself. You can use it as 2 skillets in one. You can use it as a chicken fryer. You can turn it over and bake bread in it. It's kind of like the Lodge 4-in-1, but this is a Wagner, $150. Wagner Sydney O, 1402. This is Chicago Hardware Foundry, $45. This is a beautiful piece, outside heat ring. Chicago, you'll wind up seeing these little diamond marks. And this one right here is a number 10, Chicago Hardware Foundry. Here's a Griswold Dutch oven, number 8. The Griswold are really neat because they got these raised letters, and I tell you what, raised letters on most cast iron is going to be desirable. Of course, they put their logo all over this one, Griswold inside and out, which is a great marketing strategy. Too bad they're not still in business. Griswold large block logo. Beautiful little Dutch oven right here. And it's $200. Very, very nice little Dutch oven. This here is a nice little favorite, number 7. I like number 7 Dutch ovens there. I've only got one, but I would like to have this one too. It's a favorite, and it's $175. And of course we have the drip top. I was told this one had a ghost logo. See if I can get it, if it's on the bottom. Yeah. See if we got a way to, if you can see it, there's a large block, what they call a ghost logo. But that is definitely cool. A lot of times they'd take these molds from one company and they'd sell them to another company, and whenever they made the molds, made the cast iron, they'd butter over the pieces. That way you wouldn't see the old mark, and they call that a ghost mark. So it kind of shone through. I guess you could probably call it a mistake, but you know, in collectability, sometimes mistakes are valuable. I've seen one Phillips and Butterworth, which is a crazy name. It's probably German or something, but this is P&B Manufacturing Company, and it was in Tennessee. I've got one Dutch oven made by Phillips and Butterworth. Mine doesn't have the name on it. Mine is unmarked, but this is a small spider. It's not huge. Usually spiders are a lot larger than this. It may not be the best casting, but it's an older piece. It's a gate mark piece. The lid is gate marked. The Dutch oven that I have, Phillips and Butterworth, is gate marked as well. And it's an awesome piece. If you have any information on it, feel free to chime in and say something in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. He doesn't have a price on this. He's still kind of trying to decide what to do with it because it's such an odd piece. So any information would be welcome. Now this here is Martin Stove and Range. They made 3 of these, right? 6 cup, 9 and 12. So Martin Stove and Range, they made a 6, 9 and 12. And I didn't know that till just the other day. And this makes some cool brownies. I mean, you know, this might get you out of the doghouse on Valentine's Day. But it's $100, part of Martin Stove and Range history right here, unmarked. Tell you what, I like to have all 3. Okay, here we go. We have Pinrowware. This is one that we're trying to find some information on it because we really don't know. Pinrowware, probably in Louisiana. I don't think they made it in California, so Louisiana. And where I'm from in Atala, we call that Lower Atala. But this is not a Lower Atala piece. Now, there was a foundry in Atala, but this was not it. Probably Louisiana. If you got any information on this little number 3 or Pinrowware, LA, feel free to comment and chime in. We'd love to know about it. I would like to take this one home, but I don't think he knows what he's wanting for it yet. So, curious piece there.
We'll talk about it when you're done.
Okay, here is a Martin piece, Martin Stove and Range. It is a Ballard and Ballard Company Incorporated, Louisville, Kentucky. This was made by Martin Stove and Range as an advertisement piece for them. And it also has the nice little raised letters on the handle and the griddle. And it's kind of fancy. And here's the Martin that we know is a Martin because it says Martin. Pretty much the same shape and casting. When you're trying to decide if a piece is Martin or not, you really need to know what the Martins that are Martins look like. If you learn what the marked pieces look like, you can identify the unmarked pieces a whole lot better. That goes true for Griswold, Wagner, Lodge, all the other pieces that have marked and unmarked pieces. Learn what the marked pieces look like, the shape of the handle, pretty much all around, and you'll be able to detect the unmarked pieces. Of course, this is a cool piece right here. Now here's a big gem pan. You know, I kind of like this one because it doesn't have the little bitty tiny pieces to clean and season. You can kind of get to it. Thinking this possibly an unmarked Reeds. It doesn't have a mark on it. And from what I heard, it looks exactly like the marked Reeds piece. And if you have any information on this one, it would be appreciated as well, because I do not know. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that has the knowledge on this, and please pass it along. We would very much appreciate it. I'm sure my subscribers and the video viewers of this video would love to know as well. Here is another piece. The only marking on it is a raised 2 inside a little rectangle box. It's a pretty little pan. It's shallow cups, and it's got these spaces that have been cleared out. It's not solid all the way down. If you have any information on this one, would be great too. I'm not really knowledgeable on gem pans. I'm going to have to start learning because I'm starting to see a lot more of them than I like to have. So please comment if you have information on this one, or any ideas will be appreciated. Oh yeah, this is one that he was telling me about that was very interesting. This is not a waffle maker. I was talking to the owner, and he's telling me that this was a piece that was used in a church for their for the bread that they made in their church for their services, and it doesn't have a handle. It just flips. It just flips like that, which is an interesting piece. On the inside, see if we can get a good view of the inside of the pattern. I mean, it's got, the pattern is pretty neat. It's got crosses and religious symbols in there. It's a cool piece right there. I'm sure it makes like a really flat bread. Okay, one thing I can say, when you're cast iron hunting, don't hunt cast iron in a white shirt. Not a good idea. I just want to say I had a great time at T&M Collectibles. Also want to thank T&M Collectibles for letting us come in their store and videotape their cast iron, and there was a lot of cast iron cookware. I do want to apologize for not getting the date range of all the pieces that we looked at in the video. Time would just not allow it this time, and I do apologize for that. I hope that you did enjoy the video, and if you did and would like to see more, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and I promise I'll keep more of them coming. Thanks again for watching the Cast Iron Cookware channel.